Joining me is Dr. Lois Nahirney. She is the president and CEO of dnapower Inc. And I'm excited to have her back on Doctor's Corner because I went and got my DNA health test, and I'm excited that you'll be sharing my results. Welcome back.
Well, thanks so much, Christine. I'm really excited to go through your results and help you know how you can personalize your diet and your fitness even more.
Yeah, so let's get started. I'm excited to know.
Okay, fantastic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to help walk you and some of our viewers through the reports. So can you see the screen up here?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So this is your dnapower results. And so when people get their results, we divide them into diet, health, fitness, and brain or mental wellness. And then we try and give you recommendations on each of these areas of day-to-day health that can help support you to be your healthiest and to live your healthiest life. And as we talked about in our last interview, Christine, we all have a unique genetic code. And when we can live according to our genetics, we just stay healthier. And so what we're trying to do with DNA testing is to give you that insight into what's your unique blueprint and how can you know where your genes are strong and where they're weak, and then work and focus and support your health in the areas that need the most support. Mm-hmm. And that just allows you, again, to live your healthiest life. And so no more guessing about which diet is right for me, or what are the things I need to focus on, or do I need to be worried about this? We're going to give you some level of insight into certain areas based on how your genetics are set up that can just help you make better day-to-day decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Wow.
So in the report, we talk a little bit about why it's important, give you how to read the report. And the main thing is that green is the normal genes and red are where you have variations. And in the reports, what we're doing is looking at the most important genes related to a particular area and giving you a sense of how they balance out in your body. So when we look here, first of all, at dnapower, the first parts we're looking at is your overall diet. We take a look at carbs, insulins, cholesterols, fats, and proteins. And most people will have at least 30% red on their reports. And that's just typical because we're looking at very common variations. So we're trying to say which ones are most important for you. So what's interesting when I look at your results here, Christine, is that you're a little bit redder on carbs and insulin, and really quite good across your fats and a little bit more on protein. And I'll just explain a little bit more about what that means for you. Now, we don't flag your action plan until it's 50% red or more. So when I move into your action plan, it's going to talk about insulin and it's going to talk about protein need. The rest isn't too bad, but basically you're somebody in general who should be can have a little bit more quality fats in their diet. You need a decent amount of protein in order for your body to uptake it, but you need to be careful about having healthier carbohydrates. So if you were a person who was eating a lot more, getting carbs from junk food, it would affect your blood sugar in a bigger way than most people. So somebody who with this profile who's eating an unhealthy, more of a fast food diet has a higher tendency towards insulin and sugar spike or glucose spikes, and potentially even to diabetes over time, type 2 diabetes. And so I know you eat a pretty healthy diet, so that's fantastic. What we're going to do though is I'm just popping through to your recommendations and showing that in your report, you want to be a little bit careful about your insulin. So that what we want you to be doing is eating whole foods with a low glycemic load. So that means just watch the sugar spikes it could give you. So you want, vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and very high quality animal protein for anything that you're eating. And then second, the other gene that was a little bit red was protein need. And what that means is that it's harder for your body to access the protein. So if you sat down and had a big steak meal, your body would struggles to work with that. On both of these, because of the insulin management and the need for protein, you're a person who does better with a little bit of protein throughout the day and a little bit of meals and protein throughout the day. And so usually with someone like this, I will recommend have some of the nuts and seeds by your desk, snack a little bit during the day, and you want to keep your blood sugar levels a little bit more constant, give a little bit more easy to digest protein so that your body can regulate and work with that. And that is the clue in sort of the macronutrients of how to live for your unique body.
Digestion, right? Like a steak would be hard for me to digest.
Yes, and it makes it much harder. Yeah.
Yes. And I have cashews. So overall is having snacks, and I feel better actually when I have smaller meals during the day, and I don't always do it. But that's helpful, very helpful.
Yeah, so that was just really giving you a sense that when I look at your genetics here, you will do a little bit better on a keto diet than some people, remembering it has to be high quality fats. But in general, for high quality carbs, try and keep your glucose levels more consistent over the day, and smaller digestible portions of protein are what works really great with your body. Now, interesting, looking here at body mass index, this is a set of genes about how likely you are to have a weight problem. Like none. Look at how beautiful and slim you are. So you're fortunate to have that.
That's wonderful to hear.
Which is just great. So I'm going to move to the next section then, which is food tolerances. So interesting here, lots of good green. You're good for alcohol, caffeine, gluten, but you are completely red on lactose. You did not inherit genes that break down lactose in your diet easily. Now, is dairy a large part of your diet at all, Christine?
I have most days yogurt with fruit, but just a bit of yogurt every other day. So.
Well, for people who don't have strong lactose genes, something like yogurt is probably the best option for you. Mm-hmm. What you want is a dairy that has its own bacteria to break itself down, because your genes can't help. And so if you have strong gut bacteria, and of course, yogurt, if it's a quality yogurt without sugar and it comes with probiotics in it, then it will break itself down. But if you find yourself bloating or getting any inflammation, you want to be, because you don't have any support on the lactose genes, I would pull that out. So it's just something to monitor. When I see people with this one, it tends to link into weight gain and inflammation because you don't have that tendency. It doesn't show up that way. But because you don't have much lactose, you're going to be just fine. Mm-hmm. So that's an important piece to know. Interesting here, though, you do have in salt genes. Just watch how much salt you have. I usually recommend to people don't ever have table salt. If you're going to have salt, get a lovely rock salt or mineralized salt so that you're getting some other nutrients when you have it. And just use it modestly because it does affect your body in a stronger way. So in this case, you want to just keep your any salt to a pretty modest level. Mm-hmm. The next section is on food taste and preferences, all green. It means you have normal food taste and preferences. Some people have got some very different things there, although interesting. You don't smoke and have never smoked, have you, Christine?
Never.
It's a good thing because your smoking behavior, there is some genes that cause people with this gene to smoke more. And so good thing that you didn't ever start.
No.
Great. Okay, and then the last section here is on vitamins and supplements, and you'll see that yours is a little bit redder. So when I see this is a profile of somebody who probably should take a multivitamin just to be sure you don't create deficiencies. So in the first interview, we talked about how do people get sick? They tend to get sick from nutritional deficiency or toxicity. And so what you want to be doing is being sure that your micronutrients don't become deficient. And as we age, and because our food supply is so much weaker than it used to be decades ago, we need a bit more support. Our food travels, it sits on a shelf, it's genetically modified, it's not farm to table. And so we need, most of us need help. Your genes here can probably use a multivitamin. You'll also see the Bs here. There's a little bit in Bs that would be useful for you. And you'll see this in some other reports that show getting some more vitamin B support would be useful for you. And so I would recommend a complex B. And sometimes if it's not absorbing, you take what's called a methylated complex B. So I'd recommend that. Here you'll see vitamin D. I would recommend vitamin drops for you. Some of the D drops, very useful, especially in the winter in Canada. Calcium, be thinking about your best ways to get calcium. I'm a little bit cautious about calcium supplements, about how our body absorbs them, but you should get something and other ways just to support that. And you want to be careful for your Bs to absorb, or they won't process the iron well, and they could lead towards just a little bit of anemia. And so just you want to be careful of that, and your body can use some of the healthy omega-3 fatty acids. So your program, I would suggest really getting, these are the ones I love to recommend for most people anyway, is a multi, a D, an omega, and often a probiotic.
Wow, that's really good information. Like, I have to start vitamin B and etc.
Great. So, and just so that people know, so right behind here is your action plan. So everything we've just been through and I've talked about shows up specifically listed as an action. So here it says, these are the ones that are challenged. Here's the recommendation. So this is where I say, Christine, print this page out, keep it handy so that you keep reminding yourself what you should be having. And then here are some of the suggestions for vitamins. Remember and keep this page handy so that you're encouraging yourself, so that you remember your body specifically needs these things in order to be healthy and at your strongest for both running and living a long, healthy life.
Wow. It's my roadmap, if you will, like how to improve my life. And, vitamins is, I will say I am taking a vitamin D, but it's a tablet. But you would recommend like drops, right?
As long as you're getting something, I believe that the drops are just a little bit easier to absorb. But really, as long as you're taking something, you're just trying to give your body that little bit of extra support. Great.
Wow.
Okay, so that's really the Diet Power Report is really the foundational piece to help you and support your diet. The next parts are now the support elements. So we'll take a look at those. So we're going to take next a look at something called Health Power. And in here we look at your detoxification genes, your hormone genes, your inflammation genes, and your methylation genes. These are the things that support the processes day to day to keep your body healthy. So when we take a look at those four, the first one we're looking at here is detoxification. You can see there's a little bit more red, again, not uncommon, but in here, these processes for detoxification don't work that well for you. And just to say, when it's all red, you don't need to, it depends how many genes are being assessed. So don't worry that it's all red. It just is giving you the flag that says, here's an area you want to pay more attention to. So in this detoxification, the fact that you are a regular exerciser is fabulous. It means that you want foods that support you, but that the exercise also supports you as well. When we get into your action plan, what we got is some suggestions for food and other that will support you. So here you'll see some of the suggestions are you want a diet rich in vitamin Bs, you need spinach, kale, arugula, considered a methylated B complex, which is what we just talked about, support with turmeric, manganese foods such as berries, pecans, and artichokes. So it's giving you food recommendations that can help this detoxification process. But of course, exercise helps. And one of the genes that I looked up for yours specifically is exercise is really supports the way how to manage, again, this glucose levels in your body. So it's great. The next area then we look at is hormones. And when we look at hormones, we're just saying, okay, how do you make sure that these balance over your lifetime? And it's hard to know when your hormones are out of balance, but when people experience that, they might experience some weight gain, they feel sluggish. We work with many women who are struggling to get pregnant, and so this is a way to support them, or who are suffering with some menopause symptoms or with prostate issues, as we age. And so yours, again, here is a little bit redder. This says that you need a cleaner diet to be sure it doesn't cause your hormones to fluctuate. So when we know that unfortunately, our meats in North America have a lot of antibiotics and hormones added, this would compound in your body. So you need, if you're eating meat, you want to be eating an organic meat. You want it to be hormone free, because your body doesn't regulate it and then get rid of it very easily. So if you're now adding extra in, it's a problem. Or you know how you've got some of these phthalates and things that can imitate hormones. You want to avoid plastics and avoid things that can trigger your body, or health products that can, that can again imitate hormones. So things just to watch. You want in here, you want hormone-free meat and dairy. Watch that there's as much organic as possible, because the herbicides and pesticides and chemicals can affect. So you want that to be clean. If you ever, are exposed to radiation or carcinogens, so for people who have cancer, if this plus their detoxification genes aren't strong, they can have some negative impacts from chemo and radiation. So we recommend strong diet, strong exercise to support that body function if something comes up. So how is some of this resonating with you? Is there stuff in here that's feeling that you can see it fit for yourself, Christine?
Yes, it does. And it's so helpful. And it gives me my, journey, how to improve my health overall, and the report. So I feel like it's taking control of your health and knowing how to start. And when do you start seeing results? Like, how long does it take to start seeing?
What a great question. Our health is built from the inside out, and we spend often 40 or 50 years getting to the place that we're at. And it can take sometimes, like I always say to somebody, you need to give it 3 months to have it work, because we aren't taking a pill that's masking or suppressing a symptom. We're trying to get at the root cause of the issue specifically for you. In my case, because vitamin Bs were my problem and they caused me to, be extremely ill, the fact that I just started taking vitamin Bs, it takes 2 to 4 weeks for them to work in your body. After 2 weeks of taking vitamin Bs, suddenly years of health symptoms went away. So mine was very quick. People who have a lactose issue, I've had runners who have been going to physio have been going to physio for years because of the pain in their knees. Once we showed them they lactose was a problem and they pulled it out, the inflammation went away and they had no more knee problems. And so that took 1 month.
That's amazing. And if, people, how can they start, like the viewers are watching my report and I'm happy to share, how do they go about it? I know it's a swab, but what are the steps?
Well, so the steps, you and I in our last video, we just swabbed the cheek. So you order online, swab your cheek, send it in, and we mail you the results. And when you do the full package, we give you a complimentary consultation like this with a nutritionist to go through to make sure you really understand the most important steps today to take. Now, generally, we say just follow your action plan. Go and here's your action plan page, print it out, put it somewhere and set it where you can remind yourself that this is what you need to do. And that's how you can really just take power over your health. So it's just super easy to do.
I'm excited to start. I'm going to start today.
Well, and I still have a little bit more. Can I walk you through the last bits quickly?
Mm-hmm.
So here, the last little bits are just taking a look at inflammation, and you've got good inflammation, general fighting genes, but just a little bit on cancer fighting. You want to be sure that you're, again, doing a healthy diet so that you stay on top of the detoxification and cancer. Has anybody in your family had to deal with cancer at all?
Yes, bone cancer and lung cancer.
Okay, so that it just shows, had they known this information, they may have, for you, I'm not worried about you now because you know this and you can take steps for your health, which you already have been doing to make sure that these don't trigger and come into play. So it's good to know if you see this stuff in your family, just to be a wee bit careful. And I also wanted to check, has anybody in your family ever had insulin issues or diabetes issues?
Yes, my grandfather.
Okay, so sometimes we find it in our family. You have a little bit of a validation that it's there, but it's just kind of there. And so you absolutely can work around it to make sure it's never a problem. And so that's what we see here. Here's methylation. Methylation is around vitamin Bs. It says your body, your cells, to derive and use the energy appropriately, need a bit more vitamin B support. And you can do that in foods, but through supplements. So that's basically what we're eating here, just to show that that's important. But I do want to also show you your fit power genes, your fitness genes, because you are fortunate. You have a stunning set of fitness genes. So you've got little things to do. But when I look at your profile, I want to just show you here. Fitness, the first one is mutually exclusive. If you're green here, you're red here, and vice versa. You are geared for endurance activity, and you're a runner, correct?
Yes, yes.
Your body is totally geared for it. Does your body enjoy running?
Yes, and I love the longer distances, and I love hiking too. I feel I'm better at it, the longer I go. So
beautiful. You're working towards it. I have a profile similar to this, and I know when I would work out with a fitness trainer, many of them tend to have the power genes, and so they want you to do weights and power. And I really struggled. We need it, but it's not how our body does best. And so you're lovely because you're in running. It's showing you're listening to your natural body genetics, and you're taking up activities that support it on many dimensions. So I love that. You also have great injury and recovery genes. Just warm up your tendons before you go running, just to be sure there's no injury. Stunning performance genes, great for blood pressure, energy availability. That's if you need to eat before running. It's just available for you. Metabolism, when you work out, you get a great result, and great VO2 max. So you've got great oxygen uptake. So that's why running feels good to you, because your oxygen is really available. And then finally, good here for the blood sugar and the stroke. On cardiovascular, this is just because the salt gene, you just need to be careful with that. And actually it's because of the methylation. You need to support that. It's not really a big risk, but you just need to support that just a wee bit. And so again, you'll have a page of recommendations just to remind you of what we've talked about here. And then just really the final one I want to show you is brain power or mental wellness. Yours are strong, it's all good. Here we're looking at Alzheimer's. This is completely the normal result that you have. A little bit more on concussion, just to pay attention on a repair. If you do have a concussion, you just want to take more preventative supportive action, but it's not an alarming one at all. I'm not worried about that. Cortisol's fine, depression, emotional eating, Parkinson's, all of that's good. So that's kind of, where we've come through. And so, I always love doing this because we've got kind of just a few takeaways for you to say, Christine, you are going to be your healthiest if you manage your meals over a day to keep your sugar levels constant, get protein in smaller amounts, try to minimize lactose in your diet, take some vitamins and exercise, and you're going to be great.
Oh, I'm excited. And I can still have that piece of cake, just a small.
So just to say for people is, the great thing is often when you've got a health issue, people want you to do absolutely everything. Well, I'm a big believer, if you do most things well, tweak these things for your body, you still can have your glass of wine and your piece of cake. Yes. So, so that's, I think, the good news. So this is the way to give you the clues to find out, but you are not great if you now end up eating a lot of junk food. You will pay a price in health if you did that.
Yes. No, thank you so much. And if people want more information, where can they go?
Oh, they can come to our website, dnapower.com, and we'll hopefully have it at the link at the bottom. Total Power is what we recommend. It gives you all of this information, plus a complimentary consultation with a trained nutritionist to help walk you through. And what we're trying to do is give you the clues and the insights to how can you get to the root of an underlying health issue? How can you make sure you're taking some action to be your healthiest? And really just how can you have that peace of mind that you're working according to your genetics?
Well,
and nutritionists is coming, we always encourage, give the gift of health for yourself, give the gift of health for your family. You only do this once because your genetics don't change. And so once you've got that information, it really is your roadmap.
Yes, this is my gift, and I'm excited to start, like I said at the beginning. So thank you. And yes, so we'll do this again. We'll do another part 3.
Lovely. Look forward to hearing how some of the vitamins and things are showing up in your life, and look forward to any questions people might have about this. But thanks so much. It's been fun to go through your results, Christine, and loving that you're taking power over your health.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, bye for now.
Yeah.